Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of Quick to the Point. It's your boy, Nick Van Exo. I got my boys in the building. I got my boy Chill, Clarence Hill in the house, Dallas beat writer, future Hall of Famer.
Old school.
Chill, y'all Texas Longhorns struggling a little bit, but we won't get into that right now. We won't
Right.
get to you right now. I got my boy Johnny Collins, the title guy, the owner
Go
of Fury
frogs.
National Title, TCU track star legend, Hall of Famer for TCU. What's good, JC? Y'all got a big win this weekend, so
God
we talk
bless.
about that very little. We don't want to talk about that too much. It
Kick
really
the snot out of Prime.
no, you did. No, you did.
Wow.
Struggle.
Wow.
And we got my man. This 1978, 79 Ebony Jet Player
Absolutely.
of the Year. Arkansas Razorback legend Brandon Dean, straight from Monroe, Louisiana. What's
What
up?
up, young blood?
Boy,
What
look
up,
like a
young
Good.
chia,
blood?
look like a chia pet model.
That's how you say back in the day. What up, young blood?
Well, we
Man,
got you.
let's just get this thing started off. You started with the arts thing, and we'll start with Texas football. Texas started the season #1 in the nation, mainly because everybody overhyped Arch, thought he was going to be this great generational prospect. They are now out of the poll. This is the fastest the team has gone from #1 to out of the poll, from sugar to shit. No one has ever been from sugar to shit as fast as Texas. From #1 in the nation to out of the poll, not even ranked after losing to Florida. Uh, a lot of it is predicated on the fact that Arch is not who everybody thought he was. Arch was fool's gold, and so has Texas. You guys have being in the state of Texas. Certainly, you've seen it. You've heard the hype. You watched a little bit of it. Just your thoughts on the dramatic fall of the Longhorns.
I just want to ask you one question. Is this hurting your soul right now that we have to talk about this right now?
Man, I've been here a long time, and I've been through a lot of
It
years.
was just a yes or no, really, to be honest with you. We really
No, it don't hurt my soul because I got big shoulders. I've
the
seen a lot in
motherfuckers,
my
they look
lifetime.
slumped down right now.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
not slumped
boy.
down. Cause we're gonna beat OU this weekend. We're gonna be feeling good. We beat OU this weekend. We're gonna be
Hey,
back on track.
I got 50. Say, oh, you beat y'all.
Okay, you on.
Hey, I
Bet,
take that bet
bet.
too. I already owe you 50. Let's just run that back.
All right, you on.
Hey, man, I made an assessment over the last few weeks watching Archie Manning, and
His Arch. His granddad is Archie. He's Arch.
well, I made an assessment this weekend watching Archie Manning. As he was watching his grandson, I saw him mouth. Now, you may not have picked that up, but what he said is if my grandson couldn't spit and hit the ground, that boy can't throw worth nothing, man. God bless. Next subject.
Man, Archie look you know what? I hate to say this shit, but I'm kind of happy it happened. The reason why is because man, all that hype that was surrounding him because he was a man and oh he had to sit behind yours for a while and oh he gonna be the next thing. He gonna be the front runner for Heisman. He gonna be the #1 pick. His swag was on a million most of the time. And come to find out, the boy can't deal with pressure. That what it boiled down to. It ain't that he became a terrible quarterback overnight. Man, listen, when you put them lights on and you are the vocal point, well, you can't hide behind being the backup quarterback. You can't hide behind doing a few snaps. You got to be the guy every single possession. He ain't that guy. And it showed, and you know what's going to happen? He's still going to be the #1 pick on our dumb ass.
And Jerry Jones
Oh
didn't take him.
no, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, because I could be wrong, but when you talk about one of the most hyped players before they ever played the game, and then at this point of his career, probably being the most overrated. So you got the most hype and the most overrated player all in one. And but it's early in his career. It's early. I give him that. But the thing is when you around the kid every single day. How long? This is his third year at Texas or second?
Third.
Third.
This is
Third.
third year at Texas. You around him every single day as a staff, right? And as players. And he's just now starting. So I don't care who they had in front of them. They ain't had Vince Young in front of them. You know what I'm saying? They ain't have Tim Tebow in front of them. Lamar Jackson. They had whoever they had in front of them. Was it Ewers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They had
he's
him.
NFL quarterback.
They had him in front of him,
Man,
but he ain't no Heisman. You know what I'm saying? So they seen something that we all didn't see, but we all heard how great he was going to be. So when you in the building every day and you see a player like that, and you wondering, well, they got all this hype around him. Why he ain't playing? Because they know that he probably is not as good as what everybody is saying he's going to be. And it's early for him. You know what I'm saying? But he got to snap out of it, man. It's a big weekend for him, that OU game. You know, two young quarterbacks going at it. Our boy Michael Hawkins, BGA golfer with us. His son to be starting and against Archie Manning. So it's gonna be a good one, man.
yeah. You know what, quick?
Oh,
I actually want to see Arch do well. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
painful at this point, to watch him because what happened is, I think, or what has happened. I think first off, the Longhorn Nation has just made so many excuses for him, and before the excuses, there's just so much pressure on him. And when you watch him in the pocket, man, it'd be different if I don't know, it'd be different if he was hurt or something. He's just missing wide open guys. And I know his line is not the best, but he
mine
just
is awful.
guys. The line is awful. But when the line gives him 3 seconds and it's up to him to throw it down the field, he is missing guys. Now, quite frankly, his receivers are not doing him any justice either because I've seen a lot of drop passes out of UT this year as well, out of his receivers. So it's almost as if he doesn't have the help and his confidence is dwindling fast.
Yeah. And I'm glad both of you said that it's early. And this is we talked several times about sports been humbling. Football is humbling, basketball is humbling. He's been humbled. And if he ever becomes something, I'm not saying he is, this will work in his favor. This humbling will work in his favor. This is the first year of the starter, first 5 games of the starter. We'll see how he looks next year. And if he ever comes out of this funk, it will be because of what he went through and he'll be better for it. But yes, the best thing you can help a young quarterback, a good offensive line and playmakers around him to make plays and make things easier for him. They don't have that. They rely on Arch to make plays, and he's certainly not doing that. But hey, it is what it is, man. We got Texas OU. I know. Listen, I'm rooting against Hawkins. I'm glad Hawkins is starting. We got a chance because Hawkins is starting. Don't tell that to your boy at the golf course. But we got a chance because Hawkins is starting.
No, you don't.
Oh yeah, we do. We saw him last year. We got a chance because Hawkins is starting. So, but I always support local quarterbacks, local kids, and I hope he does well. Period. Just sticking with college football right here. TCU had a big win against Prime Time. We're gonna let Johnny talk about TCU, and then we're gonna pivot a little bit to Prime and what he's going through.
Obviously, I'm happy that we got the win on Saturday. It was an exciting game, but just full transparency, Colorado was a little off.
They've been off.
Yeah, they were kind of a day late and a dollar short, and it was as if they just couldn't quite get it going. They had plenty of opportunities, like we did at TCU, but they just couldn't get it going. The punting game was trash. They didn't make several adjustments specifically after halftime. What I feel like in the running game, and I don't know. I'm obviously a diehard TCU fan, but I'm a Deion fan too, and you can tell there's just something going on in Colorado.
You know what I thought when I was watching Colorado? And I hate to say it, but it's one of the things you just got to be honest. You start to think like, as a coaching staff, how much do you guys know how to prepare for a game? Because damn, oh you so yeah, I didn't understand how bad Colorado. They just looked unprepared as a team. They looked like they had no discipline. You could see that like players was frustrated with just whatever the scheme was or not understanding the scheme. And we got to be honest, that falls on the coaching staff for a reason. Now we know Deion knows more football than any of us by far. But for whatever reason, as a team, with the staff that they put in place, Like they just look like a team that just is out there was like, man, y'all want to play today? All
Going
right,
through
shit,
the
come on,
motions.
we playing at 12. Like that, they just like a team that just got together and they just trying to put it all together. So that's the disheartening thing about Colorado. 'Cause you think of Deion as a guy that knows football, get the best out of young men, but you just don't see that right now.
Yeah,
Right.
man. I'm gonna take it to a different place, and that's Dion's health, right? And the reason why I'm taking it there is because he had like a real health problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To where normally people need time to recover, right? You need time to get your bearings right. You need time to figure out how you're gonna do everything that's after that happened after this big event you just had. And he really hadn't had a chance to relax a year, 6, 7 months. He just jumped right back into it. And the reason why I say that is because I watched the Houston game and he had no life. Like he had no like, come on, fellas,
He
like
was,
you know what
he
I'm
was
saying? Let's
drained,
fight.
but he
He
was
wasn't
drained.
coaching. He was real blank and felt like he was drained. It looked like he was drained and didn't have that coaching fighting spirit that we normally see Dion have. And I just think, coming off of what he's come off of, I don't care how strong we are. He talks about it all the time. I don't care how strong you are as a man. You got to recover. You got to let your body heal to get back to a place to where you still got that vibrant energy. I don't think he has that in him yet because I don't think he's healed completely. And I think that's affecting him. I think that's affecting his emotions. I think that's affecting the way he's coaching. I think all of that plays into it. We all know when you get injured as a player, you got to get damn near 100% before you can get back out there and compete at that high level. And with his health, the health scare that he had, I don't think he took the time to really recover, man.
Yeah.
And he couldn't. He couldn't because he had, you got this university depending on you. Everything about that football team is surrounded on Dion. He's the centerpiece of everything. He makes everything go. It's not the same if he's not there. And I remember when he wasn't there in the spring, like, is he ever coming back? Because he was at home. He had the big health scare and he wasn't there in the spring. And he finally came back for meetings and came back for the fall. But clearly he didn't get a chance to recover. I mean, it was a major situation he was dealing with. And one thing he let on admitted to after the game because he coached the second half of most of the game with one shoe on.
Yeah.
You know, he had pain in his leg, and he said the blood clots are coming back. And you know how serious blood clots can be. And then you have to get on a plane to go back and do all those things. So uh, I wonder about the future of Dion in Colorado football because of everything you said, and because of what's going on now, and it's something that bears watching because I don't know what the future is for that program and for him there if he's not healthy.
I
Well,
think
you
it's
know what? You
simple.
know what? I'm gonna say this. Imagine, like, all of us here are competitors, right? Imagine being Dion in this moment. Specifically, what you all just said, knowing that you need to take some time off, knowing that you need some time for yourself to heal, but you're obligated to these kids. So that's, man, that's a tough position. I don't envy his position. I'm obviously super happy that TCU got the win, but man, I view Dion, as bigger than college football, specifically as a representative, an ambassador even, in this league. And I think college football needs him. And I hope and I pray that his health gets better and just his whole situation gets better.
I think it's a simple. I didn't say simple, but it's got to be an easy solution to him to say, listen, he got to get himself together. Like he with the type of health concerns that he has, like that's life threatening. You get what I mean? And so you can't take that lightly, even in the competitive mode of I think any kid or any parent in this moment, and even the university has to understand, like he has to take care of himself first to even be available for anybody else because blood clots, they can travel easily and fast. So
Yeah.
that's something that you can't take lightly at any point in time. And so to get a better version of him, to saying like, hey, take the rest of the year off, right? They're probably not going to be a playoff team this year anyway. So let's take the rest of this year off. Let's recover, do the necessary thing, and then by the end of the year, let's make a decision on what you want to do as far as coaching. Because at the end of the day, he keeps having different health concerns. So I think he needs to, and his family probably saying the same too. Like we want you here for us. You get what I mean? So in order for that to happen, you got to take care of yourself. And having a stressful job, as we know, it's college football, and doing all the things, whether it be recruitment and all that, like he's not giving his body, even his mind, a chance to even rest.
Yep.
So that's just a dangerous position to be in.
And I would say this: there are a lot of narratives that go with Dion, as you know, with his son. The people, there are people who don't want him to succeed. There are people who think he's too arrogant. There's a question about his legacy. He was brought there to turn the program around. The job's not finished, and I'm sure that's part of why he came back. He wanted everybody. He wasn't just here for. Everybody thought he was going to leave after his son left. He said, "I got to come back and show I'm here. I'm committed to the job." But that's all it adds stress. And you take Dion away, and I hear you saying, who's running that program? And recruiting is a year-round thing, and then people gonna be negative recruiting against you. If you take this time off to come back, all the other coaches gonna say, Dion ain't gonna be there next year. So that's all working against you. That's all part of this situation. It's a layered situation. And again, we know Dion, and certainly we want him the best for him. But this is not an easy decision for the university, for him, and anybody is recruits going forward. And so,
I disagree. I think it's an easy decision because his health
when
is
you
more
talk about his
important.
personal health, yes, it is for
Yeah,
him. But
yeah.
he thinks bigger than that. He wants to be known as a successful college coach. And all of this is about legacies and everything else that goes along with it. But yes, from a health standpoint, you're right. Put your
Yeah,
health first. But
yeah.
as men, we don't do that with our families. We don't do that with our jobs. I mean, we don't. I mean, John, how many times you take out work? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't
What,
take
what
out
does that
work.
mean? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. That's not how we're made. That's
I do
not
it
how
all the
we're
time.
built.
I take off all the time. I've been off all week, so I'm okay with taking off of my family.
Hey,
That's fine.
today only Monday, Clarence.
You're a different species, but we don't think like that. And so it is certainly a tough situation, and we wish the best for Dion, and we talked about Shedeur last week, and Dylan Gabriel got to start, and Cleveland lost, but it's
Share, like, subscribe to episode. We coming, man.
NFL Sunday. Dak Prescott continues to look like an MVP candidate. I know that Jordan Love and the Packers took a weekend off. They had to buy. Michael Parsons came home, went to the fair, came home to Dallas because he's still a Dallas guy, and when was seen shooting baskets at the fair. Cowboys got a big win against the winless Jets, but they both beat both New York teams. Dak Prescott still looks like an MVP candidate. What's y'all's feeling on Prescott and what we see the rest of the NFL this weekend?
I think Dak has shown to be the best NFL quarterback currently. He's playing the best brand of football. Even though they played South Lake Carroll this week,
Wow.
yeah, just as bad. But even though they play South Lake, man, listen, the way he commands offense and then have that many starters out, that many players out, especially the best player on their team, Turpin.
I thought you were gonna say CD. You got me right there. I thought you were gonna say CD.
Turpin. So
Oh,
to
my
have
brother.
to have that type of night and command the offense the way he did, I mean, he's making guys that you don't even know their name look good. What's the guy that had all them receiving yards, 19?
Yeah, Flournoy.
Yeah, I ain't know. Yeah, he came from JUCO just last week, and he
Yeah.
had to getting 139 yards. Now I like Dak right now. He's much better than Jordan Love. I'm talking about head and shoulders over Jordan Love. Yeah, there's no question
What
about it.
Jordan Love even got to do with this
I just
conversation?
throw it out there. I'm just because we talk about him a lot on this show, so I just thought we'd throw it out there that he's actually not even on Dak level at all.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? I just want to see Dak, win a game that we need to win. We were supposed to be the Jets. The Jets just started 0-5 for the first time, and ever. It's like we got to beat the Jets. I'm happy how Dak is playing, but I'm not ready to make a judgment yet on any of the fluff. It's Dak, then Jordan Love, 2 or 3 quarterbacks down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Dak balling right now. He balling. He looking like the most consistent of all the QBs right now. Every week he's playing the most consistent ball right now. But we've seen Dak ball out before. You know what I'm saying? And at the end, January, late December, we've also seen what happens. So,
Yeah.
for all you Cowboys fans, let's just hope it continues. Let's just hope it continues. We pretty much know about, the Packers and their history. We haven't taken 25 years off of anything. We're pretty much consistent at the top of where we need to go and where we need to be. So for Dak and all the Cowboy fans, hey, Dak is balling right now. Just keep it up. Be consistent. Just be consistent.
That's all people say.
Yeah, I want to say this. You can't jump to the playoffs in October. I mean, you can't say what's. Let's see what.
You the main one. I
All you
always
can do
talk
is
about
judge.
winning.
All
You the
all
main
you
one.
can
I
do is
always talk
judge
about winning.
All you can do is judge on what they're doing now. Okay, so
And I gave him his
we can't worry
props.
about. You're a former coach. You can't go to the playoffs right now.
I gave him his props for right now.
Okay, and Johnny Collins as a Cowboy fan, as a watcher of sports, there are only 17 of them. Okay, you can't say I want them to be. All the games are big. All are important. The Jets game is important. It's just they all carry one on the record. Okay, the Giants game is important. The Green Bay game is important. They all are important. They ain't they all gonna count at the end. So it's not like I want to wait to see him beat somebody big. He doing what he playing the same teams everybody else playing. And did nobody beat the Jets the way the Cowboys beat the Jets?
Hey, look, let me ask you a question though. Switching it with the Jets. Do Glenn get fired real soon?
Ooh, that's the question. Because I know he ain't getting more than 2 years if he don't turn this thing around. And the sad thing about Glenn is he don't have a quarterback, and there's not one coming. Because we already said Archie ain't coming, right? They're not finna get one in the ain't no franchise quarterback in the draft.
Shedeur?
I
Well, I
said in
just
the
threw that out there.
draft.
No, I just threw that out there. Just saying.
He
Yeah, in
gonna
the draft. He gonna
reclassify.
Yeah, yeah.
huh?
He gonna reclassify. That's what
He
they do
gonna reclass. He's
nowadays.
already on the
He gonna
Brown.
reclassify.
He's
Yeah.
already on the Brown.
We still got more
So
eligibility.
listen. I love Aaron Glenn, a great guy. Aggie played for the Cowboys. He went in there trying to act like Bill Parcells, real tough, talking tough, and they're 0-5.
Yeah,
And
and we can't say there's no franchise quarterback because we don't know.
That's what I'm
no,
about to
you
say.
don't know, but there's nobody
We,
that you can point to and say that's gonna be the guy.
It
we
doesn't
don't
feel like
know.
there's a light at the end of the road. The light at the
We
end of
don't
the
know. And with the Jets, to me, it's like Dan Campbell. He struggled his first year. There's some coaches struggled in this league in the first year. You know what I'm saying? And he's trying to change the culture. That shit don't happen overnight. Like you
No,
got to start getting the right players, and of course, like you said, Clarence, you got to get a good quarterback. You got to get a good quarterback. But if you want to change the culture and you believe that this guy, like the players, at the end of the day, it comes down to, are the players still fighting or are
yeah.
they laying down? If they still fighting, he's building something good, right? So I thought they didn't give up at the end of the Cowboys game. They tried to make a little push. It was late, but they tried to make a push. Normally, you get down that big, it's going to be 40-3 or something crazy. So that means he has the attention of the players. Now it's a matter of, do they keep fighting, being down on 5? What does it look like after this as far as how these guys are going to compete every Sunday?
the Cowboys are playing not to lose in the fourth quarter, so they would let them get
You
all
can
them
say what you
yards.
want to say. You can
But
say what you want to say.
they were like,
They
let's
kept
let's get
fighting.
out of here. We ain't gonna chance nothing. But I hope it works well for him. The thing that we all know, he don't have the complexion for the protection. He won't get.
Collection for the protection. That's a good one now.
Damn.
He will not get the same patience to turn this thing around like
That's
some
my
other
point.
coaches.
Yeah, my point. Yeah.
He will
I,
not get the same
I mean,
patience.
they gave Salah a little patience, huh?
Yeah,
They gave Salah a few years. He never
yeah,
did anything.
You
they
know
might
what
say
I
we
think?
ain't we.
When you look at a place like New York, it's like when we went to watch UNC play TCU earlier this year. At the beginning of the third quarter, the fans were leaving by the hundreds,
Right.
right? With 6 minutes left in the third quarter, they was pouring out that thing by the thousands. You talked about rebuilding culture quick. I think New York is probably one of the toughest places to rebuild culture. And look, I don't envy the guy. I don't envy Glenn's position right now. But quite frankly, to your point, those guys, they were fighting and they were outmatched. The quarterback just looked, for the first three quarters, he just looked frazzled. There toward the end, he made some plays, but there's just some basic things that they don't have in place yet. So you got to get a guy a chance to get pieces in place.
Well, that stadium was empty at halftime. After halftime, the 23-3, I'm just telling you, the Jets fan behind that bench, it was empty. They did not come back. after halftime, and so that's certainly not a good look. But just keep it on the same topic, because race does play a role in a lot of decision making. And speaking of the Jets, one of their quarterbacks that took them to back-to-back AFC Championship games under Rex Ryan, who we talked about last week, and how he was ripping on Shedeur. Mark Sanchez was arrested over the weekend. First, he was stabbed and hospitalized, and initially they tried to act like he was the victim. A big Indianapolis radio guy, Dan Dockett's basketball coach. You know him, Nick, former basketball coach, went straight racism and blamed African Americans, fatherless African Americans, for the problems in Indy. Okay, and a lot of people, politicians, went out and talk about how hard it is to walk downtown because of the problem in downtown Indy. Then it comes out to find out that Sanchez was the aggressor against a 68-year-old man, and the man was only defending himself, and the police arrested Sanchez in his hospital, and then they put some felony charges on him today. But that just tells you how people are quick to blame black men for the troubles in America. I walk Indy all the time during the combine. I've never had a problem walking down Indy, going to St. Elmo's, going to different restaurants, and now all of a sudden Indy's a problem that's because of black folks when Sanchez was the aggressor.
Man, I spent a lot of time in Indy this past. One of my best friends is coaching for the Indiana Pacers. I think I'm poised to get a job there real soon. That's neither there. But Indy, it didn't strike me as a place that I felt uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like it's not I'm from the hood, so I know when threatened or what danger appears, right? So I didn't get that. But to the Sanchez thing, like when I first read, I'm like, damn, yeah, somebody and jammed him up. You know what I mean? I'm thinking he is the victim. And then to hear the reports are like, man, you went ham on a 68-year-old? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what that's all about? But to the guy jumping to the conclusion, man, that ain't nothing new. They do that all the time. They always gonna paint every situation to be an aggressive black person, and they did this, that, and the third. Like, but this Mark Sanchez thing, it's interesting because I still want to hear more details about it because it seems like it's still a lot of some more puzzles to the story. So it'll be interesting to see how it all started. I know it's altercation late at night, whatever the case may be. When you walk them down the street, and there's plenty of bars to go to, and there's plenty of things you can probably get into, especially as people always walking drunk people saying all type of things. But how you pick a 68-year-old? Like, you ain't find nobody else you want to jump on?
Hey, Dean. What's crazy about it? I was reading a little bit about it. The Joker shanked Sanchez twice
in the chest,
and it say
self-defense.
Was coming back for some more, and say he had to shank him again just to get him off.
Self-defense.
Yeah, so people are questioning like what was Sanchez on to be, be that aggressive because there's everybody that knows him pretty much saying that's pretty uncharacteristic of him. And like B. Dean and Clarence said, man, I've been in downtown Indianapolis for a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of the nicest places you can be. You know what I'm saying? Got some good cigar bars, good restaurants, and it just seems like it's a real safe environment. And I still want to hear more, so I'm not going to jump to the conclusion that, people do right away nowadays because that's what it's about, writing something or putting something on social media to get clicks and views. So I'm just waiting to hear it all out, man, to see what happens.
Well, just reading here, Sanchez is accused of attacking a 69-year-old truck driver in the Indianapolis alley. The man, fearing for his life, stabbed Sanchez multiple times to stop the alleged attack. While there was people still don't know what happened, security cameras at the scene aligned with the victim. The man arrived at the Western Hotel to exchange cooking oil from the establishment. When he arrived, he claimed that Sanchez said he couldn't be there. And then Sanchez followed the driver, eventually preventing him from reaching his cell phone, and the situation escalated to the point of physical danger, causing the 69-year-old man to pull out pepper spray and use it on Sanchez. Sanchez was only phased for a moment and then attacked the driver.
Sanchez powered through that pepper spray.
He was on that juice.
Because he was on something. He had to be. He was on something. And he continued to assault the man until he was stabbed. Okay? So that's what the story is. and
So
how it's
so
aligning based on security cameras as well.
so when you hear that, right, and from everybody's account who actually know Mark, man, maybe Mark was out. Somebody else slipped a Mickey in his drink or something, man. You know what I'm saying? So for him to be that aggressive and never have those encounters before, you know what I'm saying, in his entire life, hmm.
Yeah,
when
go
you
ahead.
read that though, the first thing that came to mind to me was like, why they both in the alley? Was it dog or what? What they what they
No, he
both in
was
the alley
behind the
for?
hotel. The dude was doing some work with the hotel. He was exchanging cooking oil. Now, why was Mark in the alley is the question. He was in the side trying to work with the kitchen or something like that. He was exchanging cooking oil. 69-year-old truck driver was getting cooking oil, and Sanchez was telling him he shouldn't be there.
So you know how y'all know how Indianapolis is, right?
Yeah,
So I'm just thinking, I'm just throwing shit out here. You know how that alley, it could be a little alley that you back your truck into a
Yep, yep.
hotel, but you still
yeah,
sticking out in front of a walkway, right?
right.
So his truck maybe had been sticking out, and then maybe that's where the confrontation started because he was blocking the way for Mark to walk through, and Mark ain't want to have it.
Man,
So if
when
he
I
was
was
Well,
when I
trying
when
to
I
do
was
stuff, he
reading that,
probably
man,
should have just moved the truck, man. Fuck it.
Mark should have been happy that boy didn't have a gun or something, man. That sounded like
yeah,
that could have been a really even worse
it,
situation.
it could have been a worse situation, and let's understand this. It went from Mark is a visitor to the city. He was there to do TV for Fox.
Yeah.
But as soon as it happened, everybody want to blame the citizens of Indianapolis for the problem, and it was really the visitor that was the problem, who attacked
I
a
mean,
local.
really, Clarence. I don't think a lot of people blame the city. I think a lot of people were sending condolences to Mark. Wait. They were sending condolences to Mark. Now, the big blame was the person you said earlier. He was the one that
No,
put a big blame on a specific, you
no,
know
he
what
did,
I'm
but
saying?
so did other politicians. It wasn't just him. It was other politicians. Even the governor made some remarks because we're giving everybody want to give
And
Mark the benefit of the
them
doubt.
was all Indianapolis people. It
Yeah,
wasn't the
yeah,
nationwide
yeah.
people,
They
you
they want
know.
to give Mark the benefit of the doubt, and he was really the one that was the problem. But moving on for this, and I'm glad you brought all this up because we talk about reports and narratives. It brings me to Kyron Lacey, which is to me heartbreaking. Because didn't nobody offer Kyron Lacey these kind of condolences when he killed himself? They thought, see, he was a bad guy who was guilty and felt guilty of what he did, and because of all the reports and all the narratives regarding him, and it comes out last just over the weekend. All this stuff happens over the weekend was crazy that Kyron Lacey, you guys remember, he's the LSU receiver who was accused of causing a vehicular manslaughter. Okay. And his name got run through the mud. He was arrested and charged with vehicular manslaughter. He got uninvited to the combine, uninvited to the draft. He thought his life was over. He eventually killed himself. Okay. Committed suicide. It comes out over the weekend Lacey was 100 yards behind the accident, had nothing to do with the accident. They had video that showed he had nothing to do with the accident, yet the cop coached somebody that was a witness and said he did it. A cop coached somebody to say he did it. The DA charged him to say he did it when there's clearly video that said he was not there. It couldn't have been uh, involved in a situation. He was driving by after the fact, but they basically labeled this guy guilty, knowing he's guilty, which clearly caused mental health issues, which caused his death, based on narratives, based on reports, based on the police releasing information that painted him as guilty.
How the fuck does this shit take so goddamn long? All these cameras placed around this world, right?
Cameras everywhere.
In the United States, there's cameras everywhere. How does it take that damn long to say he was innocent and to clear his name? It should have never got to that point where that kid had to feel any kind of threat, on his life, on his heart, on his career, his family. Man, that shit is crazy, man. All them goddamn cameras. People gonna get fired. They gonna get fucked up behind this one over there.
Hopefully quick. I mean, how has the Epstein list not come out yet? It's like hopefully this is not about this is about power.
Right.
And what happened was they knew this a long time ago, but at some
They
point,
had to.
yeah, you get a time frame where it has to be released to the public, and so now it's being released, and unfortunately, it's like, oh, this is a mess. But this is more about power. Those guys railroaded this young kid through the system, and unfortunately, he was in a bad spot and he took his life. Man, that nobody factored that into the equation.
But I think uh, shit crazy, man. Because it's upsetting because we talk about this all the time on the way we get treated, right? I had two questions to this. It's like, as his lawyer, when did you not be able to get that footage, or when was that footage not available to you so you can relay that to your client that we do have proof that you're not a part of it? And then my thing is like, would it have came out if he wouldn't have killed himself? Because
That's a
they had
great
charged
question.
him beforehand. So like, where was this whole video? Because this that happened like a long time before he actually killed himself. Where was
Right.
that video? Because it's obvious that the first thing that most investigations do, they try to find video evidence, right? Whether it be a ring camera, a convenience store, or a traffic light, whatever it is, and it's sitting right there. So like, how the fuck did all that time pass that you guys didn't inform his lawyer or anybody else at DA about the video? Because seeing the
Yeah.
video, it's like it ain't even it's fucking night and day. Like it's not
Right.
even close to being something that you should be even worried about. And then what's the point of the officer deciding to tell a witness a cohort story against this kid?
Right.
Like, how did all that come into play? He came into the frame 10 seconds after it all happened. You see the charger, and then you say, hey, ma'am, I want you to say that the charger hit the car. Like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from? Like, that's all that shit is just puzzling. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you frame a kid that you didn't know was gonna be there, but then you end up framing, and then it's no video nowhere, nobody knows nothing, and then it's a mother that has to live with not the fact that her son killed himself, but he killed himself off of being falsely accused of a crime that he never did commit. Bro,
Right.
that is the most upsetting shit that you can ever hear, right? Because like she can't get her son back, regardless of what the fucking video shows. And the city of Baton Rouge, I think it's Baton Rouge what happened.
Yeah.
But how you can never compensate her for her son's life. And this is a promising kid who was going to be a first round draft pick. That LSU receivers, they always pan out. So he was going to probably be a great receiver in the NFL as well. This shit just crazy. This shit just keep happening, and this is the most bizarre one I've heard in a very long time.
Dean, we've seen this before. I would encourage you to read the story of Emmett Till.
Well, you took the word right out of my mouth. I was gonna say Emmett Till. We've been getting
motivation behind that cop doing that is only one of two things, and I don't even feel good about mentioning both of them right now. But CYA, when you are a white cop in this society, this America these days, can have great repercussions on minorities,
Right.
And that's just the unfortunate truth.
I'm gonna say this about that, but one more point. My thing is though, even though the cop is Baton Rouge, like Lacey is a prominent figure in Baton Rouge. Like, it's no misjudging who he is. So for you to even see him and still say, "Yeah, I want that kid who plays for LSU," because obviously it's LSU, you gonna know who he is. Let's frame him. Like, that's sickening within itself as well.
Right, B Dean. That's what I'm trying to figure. Did Lacey stop and try to be a good Samaritan to help out?
No.
Or did he like slow down and keep going? Because how did the cop even get Lacey involved in the whole situation?
Yeah.
Right.
None of that makes any sense, and we logical, reasonable. It's never gonna make sense to us because number one, regardless of what the cop did, the DA decides who charges.
Yeah.
The DA has seen this video, and they still charge. As you say, the video was there. The DA saw this video and still charged. I don't care if you can coach somebody up, but you can see the video explicitly shows where he was. So I don't care what the witness says.
Yeah.
The video shows where the car was. If we watch the video and they've shown in his lawyer did a good job. His lawyer at the funeral said, "I'm gonna keep fighting for you." You look at he go back to his funeral. He said, "I'm gonna keep fighting for you. I'm gonna clear your name." He knew it, but he couldn't. You couldn't release. You have to have permission to release stuff. And he finally got it. Was he knew it, but only now could he release it to the public. Okay, and that's why it's coming out now. But he knew all along, and that's the thing about being black in America. Why it's a mental mind fuck sometimes because you innocent. You know you didn't do it. But they are charging you anyway. They're ruining your life anyway. The narrative you cannot reverse them uninviting you from the combine, uninviting you from the
Draft.
all your draft stock dropping. You can't fix that. Okay, and so that was his mind. And as a young man who knows I'm innocent, knows I had nothing to do with it, it's a mind fuck. Let's be honest about it. It was a mind fuck, and it really took his life. His mama, his daddy, his family need to sue everybody. Everybody needs to be fired. But you're right. It's not gonna bring him back to life.
Well, not only is it not going to bring him back to life, I don't have a lot of hope on any real ramifications. I,
Agreed.
I don't have a lot of. I don't see where there will be a lot of resolve that comes out of this. I hope that I'm wrong, but I just don't have faith that real resolve will be provided to this young man's family, man.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a tough situation, which is why I go back to when we're talking about what happened to what our boy in Nebraska said. We're not surprised. It's like all these situations about narratives about black men. And how one thing can lead to another. Either you cause a situation, you kill yourself, or you can get shot by cops. Going back to the indie thing, it's the same thing. Narratives about young black men cause people to think, well, Sanchez got shanked by black fatherless black kids. None of that's the case, but people are easily buying into those narratives about young black men, and that frustrates me to no end.
Quick, what are your thoughts? I see your mind turning.
No, I already spoke on it, man. I mean, we've been seeing this ever since we've been doing the show. We probably every other show has been a situation where we'd be like, "Well, it ain't nothing new that doesn't happen to us." You know what I'm saying? So it's the cycle continues.
And it's a
Well,
painful
let's.
conversation. It's a painful conversation. Let me give you one more example of what happened to me this weekend at the TCU game. So I have parking spot 133, and it's a
Yeah.
prime time parking spot. It's amazing, right? Um,
It's right in the front. Is it in the tunnel
no, it's right in
where the
front.
players come out?
You look, you park and then you walk in. Like it's prime time. My point is this: I drove my truck and parked at my office, and my son and I walked to the game. I gave the parking pass to my wife. We had some friends, some cousins come in, so they came in. When they get there, somebody's in our parking space. So no big deal. I was gonna go down. I was like, no big deal. I'm gonna just sit it out. They gave him another parking space right, caddy corner just right there. So it just kind of worked out. But when we were coming out, I saw the people parked in my space. I said, hey man, this is not your space for the record. And next time I'm gonna have you towed. As a courtesy, I didn't do it this week, but next time I'm gonna have you towed. And the guy said, well, the mariachi band parked in our spot, and that triggered me. Because I was like, well, first of all, that's your problem. That's your problem. They parked in your spot. You knew when you parked in my spot, that wasn't your spot. Now, that's not really where my problem came from. My problem came from that same guy said, well, the guy right there said it was okay for us to park here. So this is a guy that's been there like my parking neighbor, right? I was like, hey, man, why you tell him that? They said you told him that. Now at this point, I'm feeling away. And he made this comment about, well, you drive these big fancy cars. And when I saw that car, I just felt like it was you. And I was like, well, what about the fact that when the white dude stepped out, it wasn't me? Like, don't do that. And he had such a flippant attitude about it that I had to kind of just stop mentally. Because at this point, I'm feeling this cumulative effect of these conversations, the things that we've seen over the last, handful of years. It's just so much going on right now in America, and my heart aches on just the personality of America and this clash that we're having across cultures, man. It's just hard for me to deal with. So y'all pray my strength in the Lord.
We will, man. We
I
will.
do the same for y'all.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Them first world problems right there at TCU, right there. First world problems. Big money. First world problems at TCU. Let's end on this. LeBron James has a big press conference coming up where everybody assumes he's going to announce his retirement, maybe at the end of this year. Any thoughts on LeBron finally calling it quits after what has been a glorious career? I don't think anybody's come into the league with more hype and more expectations and lived up to it on and off the field, off the court, the way LeBron had. We can argue all day whether he's the GOAT and won enough titles, but nobody came to the league with more pressure on them to succeed and win and do it the way LeBron has done it on and off the court without any controversies or clashes.
Let me go first as a casual fan. LeBron will never be Jordan. But what LeBron has done since he's been in the league is absolutely remarkable. And if he is announcing his retirement, I hope people show up and give him a roaring goodbye and really celebrate him on his way out, because at the end of the day, he's played the game in a different era, under a different mentality, some of which I feel like he created. But the man has been an absolute monster. And like Jordan, LeBron should have several more MVP trophies. He should have several more accolades that I feel like he didn't get just because he was LeBron and he just was boring people with his greatness. So shout out to LeBron James. He's absolutely one of the GOATs, specifically of this era or his era. And man, I wish him nothing but a phenomenal and happy, goodbye tour if that's what he chooses to do.
I'm gonna go let Quick go last. You know, LeBron has never been my favorite player, but I've always respected him as a basketball player. I was a Kobe guy, love Kobe. But the hatred that man has got through the course of his career, it's gonna come back full circle when he retires and people realize how much he carried the league for such a long time, right? The things that he did on and off the court. Off the court, it's a blueprint. He's laid down a blueprint that I don't understand why other players don't model themselves after. Being able to elevate his portfolio even off the court. But on the court, allowing him to say, I'm assuming he's going to announce he's retiring because of course, he's going to kind of want that little farewell tour, which he gratefully deserves, right? But I just hate it because now, you usually have a eventual passing of the torch to the next. You usually can see that next person, right? You seen it with Kobe to LeBron, whatever, Jordan to Kobe, however it went. But now in this day and age, you can't say who's the next LeBron James, right? The person that that you can depend on night in and night out. And I like to be an American-born person because, like everybody else now, that's probably the better players in the league are foreigners, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how the league goes forward after LeBron. And this is the time he would get his appreciation because now people realize how much the league may suffer when his absence is there.
Yeah, I agree with what both of y'all said, man. I think what Brian has done since he came into the league, watching him his first game against Sacramento, you know, everybody was tuned in, from all the hype when he came into the league, how special this guy was going to be, the next one, all of that, the chosen one. And he lived up to everything. You know what I'm saying? He became married at a young age where most NBA players they don't do that. They living that life. They kicking it. They out having fun with the fellas and everything, and doing what NBA, NFL guys are doing. And he made a commitment to a family. He made a commitment to an organization. He made a commitment to the bigger organization, which was the NBA, and he lived up to it. You know what I'm saying? I think Brian gets a bad rep for making his decision, for going to Miami, being the best player on the planet. That was just something that was just unheard of before. When you're the best player on the planet, you defend where you are and you get guys to come to you and you try to win the
Right.
game. And so that's what kind of rubbed people the wrong way. But at the end of the day, he deserves a farewell tour. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully October 7th, that's what it is. You know, knowing LeBron might say he coming out with a new podcast or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But I would hope that he's saying that this is it, because I wouldn't want him to do it in the middle of the season. I want him to get the appreciation from every
Right.
fan in every city, because he deserves that. MJ left, you know, it was pretty much Weedy and Brown was right there. So he deserves it. He deserves all the applause, all the cheers that a person of his magnitude should get. So much respect to Brown.
Yeah, we don't know what it's going to be, but that's the assumption. Because all the ticket prices, all over for the Lakers game, they're through the roof. Everybody wants to get a last glimpse of LeBron. And so again, I'm with you guys. I'm a Jordan guy, but you can't help but respect the way he approached the game, the way he played the game on and off the court, his commitment to his family, his sons, what he's done in the public eye, and never have any real major controversies off the court, and kept his family together. You know, much respect. It is something that the young men, should emulate.
For sure, for sure. And can NFL players take the ball over the goal line before they drop it? Clarence, can you have a little introduction on that or something like?
Man, that's common sense. I don't understand how you drop the ball. And listen, Johnny, that's a TCU guy. That was a TCU running back.
Didn't go to
That
class.
TCU, that
Dumbass.
TCU education. Now that was TCU running back.
that?
Arizona, that was TCU guy. And I'm glad you brought it up real quickly, because a lot of people are acting like the coach hit them on the shoulder pad was wrong. This is football, man. You got hit on the shoulder pad. He gets hit hard in the game. The coach gonna cuss you out in football, okay?
He should
And
have.
he had every right to cuss him out, and give him a piece of his mind and say, "Son, don't do that again." And hit him on the shoulder pad. And everybody like, "You shouldn't be doing it." Come on, man. We got to stop this babying of America, babying these kids. Ain't nothing wrong with hitting that man on the shoulder pad. He gets hit hard in that in the game, and for that bonehead play, he deserved it.
Yeah,
Somebody should have punched him in the mouth.
yeah, it's a new era, man. It ain't no more, you know, getting on kids' butts, you know, for doing bad in games and in practices. You can't do that now. But you know, I was listening to everybody talking about and reading, cut him. He would be on like, man, you see how fast that motherfucker went through that hole? I wish I would cut him. Hey, you suspended for that first quarter of that next game. You know not to do that shit no more. Man, that boy ran through that hole so goddamn fast. Shit.
They suspended him for the first series.
The disheartening thing is that it happened just a week ago. An Indianapolis receiver, Texas guy, who did the same thing. And you know, every coach in the league showed that play, their whole team. You see this? Don't do this. And for the next week for you to do it, that's what burns me up. He probably showed the whole team, hey, y'all see this? Don't do this. Run the ball across the goal line. Wait till you celebrate. And to do it the next week, are you dumb or you stupid? You can't be both. Pick one. Pick a struggle.
It's gonna happen again. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen again.
This week,
We see it every year. We see it
Pick
every
a struggle.
Well, we out of here, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of Quick to the Point. For the fellas, we up out of here.
Deuces.
Peace.